Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life as a Random Reseller. Plus, Ask Us Anything. Here on Two Dogs Digs on our Tuesday night live hall pass. And we thought, what better way to start than with a little song?
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think that my thrifting's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the dog who's bought everything? Look all around, floor to the roof. If you don't think that this isn't some proof, guess what? I'm the dog who's bought everything. I've got china and knickknacks aplenty. I've got Disney and beanies galore. You want fake Barbie dolls? I got 20. But who cares? I love thrifting and reselling more. Now time to sit, get some stuff listed there. Hear a cha-ching and jump out my chair. This is the life that a dog like me and Rick live. Down in my room, no darkness and gloom, just a bunch of stuff that needs selling. What I'll be listing, you see, until the end of the world. Woof! Two Dogs Digs, reselling.
There you go. I promised I'd do a little song every once in a while, and that's what I did. So hopefully you enjoyed my little part of your world. I figured it was the appropriate start for a show about us as a random reseller, as well as a ask us anything type of thing. Especially you got thingamabobs, I got 20. I could have done 18, 20, 30, 40 different things. I love it. Thanks, Diana. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. And there, the other. Yeah. I want to be a Disney. Well, I am a Disney princess. He actually has a T-shirt that's made for me that says he's a Disney princess that I've worn around a few times.
Furry princess.
Furry princess, yeah. It's kind of behind the scenes. It shows you how much stuff we actually have.
But you didn't get to the basement or the dining room or our storage locker.
But I did want to show the stuff that we actually do have that are sitting around in there. I've actually got a couple other, I think, photos.
I think about half of what you showed actually is listed. So
yes, that is true. Half of what was in the listing that you saw there, that's actually stuff that we have listed. We actually, part of it is our inventory system, which was a question that somebody asked, and somebody else asked something about where do we keep everything. So this is literally all the sort of stuff. I would say, actually, I honestly would say probably only about 70% of the stuff is actually listed. That's the terrible thing. Now, some of the stuff is there for different reasons as well. What logical reason would you ask? Well, actually, the stuff, for example, the Disney boxes and things like that you saw, we've actually organized those in some cases for Whatnot shows. Because when we started doing Whatnot shows, we've actually gotten to be able to say, okay, we're going to do a Whatnot show that is specifically about Monster High. So we put all the Monster High into boxes so that when we go to do that Whatnot show, we can pull those boxes down and go through that. We've been trying to arrange for that for over the past 3-4 months, is moving more stuff into try it on Whatnot and then go and potentially list it. We actually just did that with some Christmas ornaments. We had 2 vintage Christmas shows, one a week ago Saturday and one this past Sunday. In the 2 shows, with about 5 hours worth of time on screen, we sold over $600 or $700 US worth of little ornaments. But like one I thought would go and it didn't. But I was trying to sell it for $25 an ornament. We had 3 of them. And they're listed by people and sold on eBay and Etsy for $50 to $75. So I just picked them up and I'm moving them over to Etsy. It's like I tried 2 shows, didn't have an interest, so they're moving off, kind of thing. So that's the kind of challenges that we have with some of this stuff. The hallway, which I didn't show you, that is all 100% listed. I don't know if I got a picture of the hallway in my phone or not. It is. I think I did that in video number 2, which was just, I'm going to flip this around when I show you a quick shot of the hallway. Where we go? There we go. There we go. Stop. Oops. Oh, almost. Just trying to, hold on one moment, please, and I will show you. This is all listed. Everything that you saw there. That is boxes on boxes of listed stuff. So big hello to everyone who's joined us here on our 2 nights.
If I could interject for a second. All of our inventory boxes have either a letter and a number or 2 letters and a number. And we put that as our custom SKU into eBay and Etsy. And if we cross-list, we mention that it's cross-listed in the custom SKU field so that we can immediately go to the other platform and offload it.
EP1 on that box. EP5, EP6, EP10. So that's what I was talking about as well, about those Home Depot boxes, the shoebox size, and then the bigger size. And we keep those. We have invested into our business. It's one of the things that after doing it for a long time, we actually ended up having to do. We got a bunch of questions that people asked us, and we're sure there's some that we're going to have in here. But again, first, thanks to everybody who's joining us here. A special extra thanks to those of you who are watching after the fact. Don't forget, you can ask us tons of questions there if you have questions that we don't answer in the show. You can also ask questions for us in the craft group, the Canadian Resellers and Fantastic Thrifters group on Facebook, also the Crazy Resellers, because about 20% of our 32 or 3,300 members now. We're growing quite a lot. Almost 1,000 people in the past year, I think, Rick.
Yep.
It's about between 20 and 50 a week almost seem to be joining. So 20% of those are from the US and beyond. So please feel free from anywhere. There's our Facebook group link. It's also in the listing on the side. And another double thank you to everybody here who is a member of our Kennel Club. All those folks have in the chat, you'll see their little icons, things like that. That's they pay $3 a month to help, $2.99 to support us trying to find ways to help you save money, make money on your thrifting, reselling journey. So I can play the song again. Somebody said I missed the song. I'll play the song again at the end, just in case anybody wants to see it again. I might even post it I did 3 versions of it. That was the one Rick did. You need to know what the boot beside you is. There's a face painted on the side. Yes, Charmaine, because today is about being a random reseller. Random resellers buy things. Just buy things, all sorts of things. So we kind of look at it and say that there's 2 kinds of resellers. There might be a third. I'm not sure yet. You can tell me if you're one of the third that I haven't made up. But to me, there's random resellers and focus flippers. Now, a focus flipper would be somebody who specifically deals with 1, maybe 2 types of things. So they're record dealers. So all they do is look for records, buy records, flip records. Look at clothing, men's, women's, doesn't matter. Clothing as a whole, but everything's clothing. With us, we don't have a clue what we're going to be buying next. Like this. This is somebody took a vintage shoe and decided to turn it into their version of the screen. Did they make 2 shoes? No, they made 1 shoe. Did we buy it? Yes, we did, for $2. Why did we buy it? Because it's a vintage Scream shoe. Like literally, I bought it to resell. I just haven't resold it yet. And I'm going to try and rotate things beside me every show now, just so you can see a little something different from our random world of things. But this is actually the types of things that we pick up. In fact, that is downstairs in our dining room beside a blow-up screen like an inflatable screen that's this big and a little plastic PVC screen. So we have 3 screens there. So we kind of use it as our icon for when we hear a cha-ching. Ah! Like kind of the Home Alone type of thing.
Oh my God, that's sold.
Oh! And we'll have one of those hopefully. Well, we will have one literally in about 20 minutes from a Facebook group that we've got an added. But a big hello again. Let's say hello to a bunch of people that are here. Thanks so much for everybody for joining us. Now, there was a Lisa Wallace first in tonight. Carl was second. Jennifer third. Hey, Joel was here. Janet, Kathy, Nellie. And again, thanks for those of you who asked questions. And Tina, Kevin. Hey, who else we got here? Lisa came in, but then she has to run, I think. Let's see. Carl says he's actually shocked it's working today. Yay! Let's see. Andrew. Let's see what else we got. I think I said Greg. Charmaine, who we saw the thing. Candace. Yeah, there's a crap. Gotta run. Vintage Treasures by the Sea. Thanks so much for popping in and joining us here. I said Candace already. Elisa. Oh, who else? I hate when I miss people. I don't like missing Luette. And I saw another. Michael. Thanks again. Michael joined us in 2 of our shows on Whatnot as well. I put an extra little thing in your next package. He did buy something from us today as well. I'm Canadian, so it sort of like comes with both ways. And I thought I saw another name that I did not recognize in there, but maybe I did, maybe I didn't. It's hard to see. Well, hey! Cameron's joining in. Hey, Sam Chap. There's a name I don't recognize. Vinyl Mine. Thanks for popping in, Vinyl Mine. And Slow Crafter. Random Reseller for sure. Well, yeah.
Did you say hello to Diana?
Oh, hi, Diana. I saw one of her comments. She gave us the golden buzzer, so I didn't think I needed to say hello to her. So
you must say hello.
We thought we'd start out actually with and Tina with really sort of a review of sort of who are we? So we're gonna, because somebody actually asked, because some people don't know. You asked, so you know, somebody actually asked the question.
Hi, Bob.
Oh, hi, Bob. So the question was actually asked by Allison. It's like, who are you? Like, just sort of, it's if you're new to the channel, what's your background story? Well, in the most basic of ways, I was a collector. Rick was not. We've been together 37 years, coming on our 38th year now. And he had to deal with me being a person who bought a lot of stuff. Now, when I collected stuff, some of the stuff was stuff I had when I was a kid. I still had it. Some of the stuff was stuff I didn't have as a kid. And this is going back again, like 30 years. But one of the things as a collector you sometimes do is you try to buy stuff and upgrade. And that's what I ended up doing. I wasn't allowed any female dolls when I was a kid. I was only allowed Johnny West and G.I. Joe and things like Evil and Big Jim, which is kind of a butch doll. But I was allowed them, but I was not allowed like Jane West, Johnny's wife, even though she had solid plastic clothes on. You couldn't change them or anything. My dad was like, no. I was like, hey, wait, when we flip this, Rick? Oh, you found that. This is a picture from one of our houses where this was my collection of metal TV lunchboxes. Which somebody came into the house when we were renting it and actually asked a question if this was a preschool, nursery school, because there's so many toys. It's like, no, it's 2 adult men who live there. But what ended up happening was I started buying dolls and I wanted to get better dolls. So I got one and it had a rubbed face. Then I bought a better one, then a better one, then a better one. And what ended up happening is at one point, this one looked at me and said, what are you doing with the other 8? You have 1 on display. What are you going to do with the other 8? And so I said, I guess we have to get rid of them. So we actually started selling in 2 different ways. Way before the internet, there was a thing called Toy Shop Magazine. I still got to find one. I know I have one around somewhere. It was an oversized monthly magazine that people would literally put their stuff for sale in. And we did toy shows and antique shows where we got a booth or a table at a show. And I dragged Rick's butt along with me all of those places. Now, Rick never used to go shopping with me. I'd go to toy shows to shop by myself, but I made Rick work the shows with me. And sometimes when I was really lucky, Adrian, who I don't think is in here yet, he actually would join me and help sell it because he would sell stuff too. So that's how the reselling started. And then it became, oh, well, there's something else I found at a garage sale. And I never thought about selling this before or a that before. And then I tried. And then eBay came along. And when eBay came along, it was basically a game changer for us because we've been actually selling some things on these things. What were they called, Rick? The
Usenet news
Usenet groups. It was the first computerized thing before eBay. Rec collecting dolls. And so that's what ended up happening in there is a doll would come out in Canada or a toy would come out that was Canadian that wasn't available anywhere else. Maple the Beanie Baby. That was one of our first big woofs, our big what we call arbitrages, where I drove everywhere trying to find Maple the Beanie Baby. I had his in-laws searching for Maple the Beanie Baby in Alberta and BC. And I would tell them, you find one, I'll give you $30 for it. You mail it to me, and then I flipped it, and I was selling them for $125 like that. Then came eBay. And that's where we started selling after it literally became a way to change over to try and do sales. So it just...
Yeah, we actually found eBay through the Usenet news groups. Like very, very early days, like some of the first months that eBay was in business.
Susan remembers Toy Shop Magazine. It was really good.
Yeah, we did live telephone auctions.
It was hell to work when you got. I mean, those of you who are younger can't imagine what we had to go through without a computer, because like when we want to do a sale, we actually had to take photographs with a camera, have those photos developed into 5x7 pictures, type up the listing, and attach the listing and all the photos into an envelope and mail it to Kansas City. It would be set in an ad that we would then proof, then see and approve. And then it would come out 2 months later in Toy Shop Magazine. So when we wanted to do an auction for next October, we were working on it now. And we did live phone auctions where we sat in the basement, picked up the phone and hung up the phone, picked up the phone and hung up the phone. Yes, Photomat, exactly, Holly. So yeah, eBay became so much easier than setting up at shows.
Well, we used to get paid with money orders, personal checks, and in some cases, people would send cash, including coins, that they would tape to a card. And every week, Craig would go to the bank.
Yep.
He'd write them all out on the bank deposit. We had a business account. He'd write them all out faithfully. Then he would go make his deposit. And then we would go to Canada Post and mail everything.
Yep.
And Craig was on a first name basis with all of the people behind the counter at our local Shoppers Drug Mart, because he'd walk in with 40 or 50 packages and take 2 hours to ship stuff.
I always went at times where we knew it wasn't busy. I actually could call them and ask them when they wanted me to come, and they'd set us like, hey, look, tomorrow morning, come at 10 kind of thing. But yeah, we did all that and just kept reselling. The biggest benefit to us happened to be when cross-border shipping was something that we found that was about 10 years ago, where we were starting to go, our costs for items are going out of the way. But then we also moved away from toys about 10 years ago into much more broader stuff. And this is what I wanted to say. This is why we call ourselves Random Resellers. This is just some of the stuff in the past 90 days that we have actually sold through eBay, mostly as quickly as the eBay. But this is to show you how random the things are that we sell. You may recall that we did a thing. We showed some people this. This was at a Value Village, and you saw that we found 5 bags of Doc Martin laces. There's about
hundreds of
bags.
pairs.
There weren't 5 bags. There were actually 10 bags, I think.
Hundreds of pairs.
Yeah, potentially 800 pairs. 15 more bags. So 20 bags in total, 800 pairs of shoelaces. Why would we buy shoelaces? We're not shoelace people. Well, we bought them because Doc Martin shoelaces can sell. And in fact, in the past 90 days, we've sold 29 sets of these shoelaces for $10 a piece. That's $290. That was more than, and we have 2 different versions of this.
3.
Every week, we sell 1 or 2 of these for $10, $15. So this is literally gravy to us. So when we say also random resellers, it doesn't matter. We paid pennies. So if we can sell them for $10 and it doesn't cost us anything to list them, sure. We sold this yesterday a Mrs. Claus mistletoe air freshener body. The person bought 2 of them. I bought this literally 3 weeks ago at a thrift store. Why did I buy it? It was $2.99, and I looked it up. I thought, oh, let's buy half a body of Mrs. Claus. There's 2 in a bag. Sold them both. $40. Found this lovely little butterfly in a bag at a Value Village. 2 of them in the same bag for, I think, $4.99. We sold this one for $125. Some things are small and don't make tons of money. This was something else we just happened to find. $19 for just a little mountie on it. So a little toy. So Rick's big toy, his Aurora plush doggy that he sold for $300. It was $4.99 at a thrift store. I bet you never thought you'd see someone talk about the Gilmore Girls, or even yet sell a Gilmore Girls paperback for $95. Yep. We told people about that actually on the Hall Pass before. It was one of those things that you should look out. Little secret woofs. Watch out for us. We had 2 of these listed for $95 a piece, and this person bought both of them. $200 on 2 old Gilmore Girls paperbacks. And I just found 2 more. This is a camera lot we got from a closed down camera store. And this is kind of when Rick started getting into it. I started dragging him all sorts of places. And this was a drag across the border into upstate New York. And this camera store was closing. And so this woman actually said, here, do you want these? And gave us about 50 empty, non-working store display cameras.
She didn't charge us for them.
Not upset. She goes, take these. She also, I don't know what else. She gave us these little tiny things that were some kind of splicing piece. She gave us boxes of them for $1. The splicing things that were inside, there were about 40 inside every box. We sold for $10 a piece, and she gave us about 4 boxes. We bought so much stuff from a camera store. We know nothing about cameras. In fact, we still have some store display things downstairs from Fujifilm. Giant store display things that we bought. Why? Because we're random resellers. But this guy, we just sold these. They've been listed a little while. But somebody bought 4 lots of these for $25 a piece, $100 for some free stuff. I actually threw in an extra set for him to put on display. He's so thrilled. We just got a message saying, a Star Wars Boba Fett bounty hunter thing, $48. I got this at a garage sale for $2. This Stingray light, it was behind the counter at, I don't know anything about these things. It's a light show with a twist, by design in mind. Hey, I plugged it in. I got it working. I got it so that you could actually see all the things. We did a little video on it. It sold in under 30. This is all it does. I don't know why. But it's random. We bought some cotton knit fabric probably about 7 years ago. Big, huge rolls. Big, huge rolls that we bought.
8 rolls for $4.99 each.
We sell a piece that is 12 inches of each roll for $12.50. We have sold 110 pieces of this just on eBay, and we've been selling them on Etsy too. And we still have rolls of these things left. Again, pretty random. This is what I say. This is like a dog harness. I found 5 of these donated for $9.99 at a thrift store. That's pretty random, but we sold all 5 of them. We found paper that we've sold before. We love it. And we're going to do a show in February that's, again, talking about smalls and flats. And flat is where it's at. Take a look at it. We bought a huge box of these for probably $10. We've sold 22 of them literally in the past 90 days. 22 sets of these for that's $220. And I even sold a bed sheet that looked like a cassette deck because I thought it was funky. This is what I mean about finding stuff that's, you never know. And just to show you, again, with that who knows what, we have a bed sheet right now that's on sale on Happy Vintage Women's Auctions and Sales. This is actually, we bought 2 of these for $5.99 a piece. We thought these look really great. And take a look at this. If you can see, our top bid right now with only 4 minutes left is $80 to sell that for, plus shipping. So there won't even be any fees on something like that. So that's why we're random resellers. we're like all over the place in terms of what it is that we sell. We don't have one thing. We don't focus on one thing. We have a skew, but I walk every aisle pretty well in that thrift store except for clothing right now. And the only reason we don't walk through clothing is because we have so much clothing that we bought that we haven't gotten rid of. Because it will be this year. It will be going for sure. I started doing some stuff. You saw the Boba Fett thing that went up just recently. I've sold some of these shirts that we've got. So we've done a little bit of clothing, but we're going to get back into it a lot more, and especially maybe on Whatnot, trying it there. So that's what random resellers basically are. I think somebody who just, you never know what it is. Which sheets? The ones with the flat flower? You got 4 minutes. If you want the one that had the cassette deck on it, that was on eBay for almost a year. The cameras with Kudnik, I think he's using them because he ended up getting 25 cameras. So,
yeah, he said he was going to be putting them on display.
Yeah. And that's just it. When you look at stuff like that, I mean, we've talked about it before. We bought 40 pairs of prison underwear. Y front brand new prison underwear from a thrift store for 99 cents a piece. And I forget.
Huge sizes.
It keeps
5X, 6X, 7X.
5X, 6X, and 7X, but it keeps dropping off of our listing because I keep forgetting about and pulling it off, and now I got to put it back on there. So yeah, that's the kind of thing that a random relister is all about. So, and that's who we are, basically, random relisters. Titania is asking whether we're full-time eBayers or whether this is on a side hustle because we're doing so amazing. It's an on-the-side hustle because we're lazy. We actually don't have full-time jobs anymore. Mine closed down because of COVID. Rick's actually was with the government, and he got an early retirement package a couple of years back. In fact, he retired a month before COVID actually hit. It was supposed to work for me full-time because I ran an advertising agency. And
I didn't want you as a boss.
He didn't like coming into work. So he's it's always been sort of a part-time thing for us, but I will say that as a part-time thing, our past, and I'm always open to this. I show you guys stuff like this all the time. Our past years are like usually at least in the neighborhood of $50,000 in sales from our various platforms. So we use all sorts of platforms. We use eBay. We're using Etsy. We're using Whatnot now. Started last a year ago, October, started using Whatnot. We have Max Sold that we usually do 10 to 12 of those a year. So with all of those platforms, it's like it can be good money. It can be really good money. You just have to find the stuff that can flip for you. Now, I don't want to think what I'm doing now, and I've talked about this as a January thing, is when you're time for you to start going through stuff going, I don't need this. So we saw those board games that was in that first video that I took. Well, I went through probably a third of them. I've taken a third of them. I donated a third of them. They just didn't have a value. I'm putting another third of them. I'm actually putting into an upcoming Max Sold because they're old and funky. So I think I might get a little money for them. And the other third of them I put onto eBay. One of them I told you guys about a couple weeks ago, Catico. Cadu, what is it called, Rick? I can't even remember the name of the damn thing. Caribou, cranium caribou. It sold already for $50. Somebody actually asked, are those still selling? Well, we listed and it sold. So I looked at that and I went, this is $50. I'm going to get rid of this stuff that I put $4.99 in. So I didn't necessarily, I threw out stuff that I bought for $4 or $5 or $2. And that's, I think, one of the things that actually was another question somebody said is, what do you do with all of that stuff that Elisa actually asked? How do you get over the process of the guilt of stuff that just won't sell? You don't want to feed the beast its goodwill. Allison/Kendra said she donates to places that she feels good about. But that's the one thing is it weighs you down. I think it really can weigh you down when you're looking at so much stuff. And so the time is actually to go, I got to do some of this stuff. If I've tried to list something on Facebook and I've renewed that Facebook listing 10 times, screw it. I'm either got to ask a lot less money and get the money back. Like, that's the other thing. Don't be afraid of getting your money back on something and not selling it for what you think or hope you can get. We have stuff in the house right now that I have no idea where Rick thinks we're going to make the money back on. Like a giant Asian drum that he decided to buy in December.
You pushed me to
I
buy
did
that.
not push you.
You did
Not my
so. You said,
fault.
"Oh, look at that! You should
No,
buy that."
I
Oh,
said,
do you
I
want that?
No, it was the sound of the drum. I said, stop that. He'll see it, and you saw it, and you bought it. He said $75 on this giant drum. I have no idea where they're going to make the money back on that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'll try and get him to put it on Marketplace, but he doesn't like Marketplace. I got to do all the Marketplace stuff myself. At the end of the day, though, if we have to get rid of it and we lose money on it, well, I just made the money on those sheets in a way. So it's a bad sort of way to look at some things. I know other resellers would probably say, don't do that. Look at that as a law. You know, the world that we're in right now of buying and selling, it's one of those things that I am not going to sit there with every single line item down. We do record everything. Somebody asked about how do we record everything. We record all of our purchases. Every single purchase is going through. So when we go, we do claim every single thing as to our income. So it's one of those things that a lot of people don't necessarily want to do, but it's something that you should, because you can write off a bunch of stuff. So as a business, we write off a portion of our house that we're using. We write off a portion of our furnace, a portion of everything, our air conditioning, our electrical bill, all of that, because it's all stuff that we use. We have 25% of our house that is literally storage. There's nothing in it. There's no, it's our office. We write off places.
We also have a separate business insurance policy.
We have a separate business insurance policy. We write off things like the subscriptions that we pay, the price to pay for an eBay store. We write off the subscription to Worthpoint, which is amazing, but it's something that when you look at it and you don't think about it as a business, then it can become a little bit hairy. When you start looking at these are all things I do for my business. I buy these things for my business. We write off the cost of all of the boxes that we buy. So when we're doing that right now, Rick is in the process of doing his taxes. We use an accountant, professional accountant, but we have literally sheets that are like, this is the amount of income we have from every one of the places that we've got. This is the amount that we spent in the year on all of the things that we purchased. This is the amount that our internet costs. This is the amount that this costs. This is the amount that this costs. And all of those things, even our car insurance, a portion of our car insurance is for literally doing the business of thrifting, because driving to deliver something to the shipper, if something happened in our car, it's our business. So we do write all that stuff up. We still make a good amount of money. And again, we enjoy doing that. That's the big thing, is we enjoy doing this much more so than if we weren't paying attention to that sort of thing. Yep, gas too. We don't write off any of Doug, though. Recording the inventory really sucks when you buy at large auctions. Yes, that is true. So that can be a little bit of a hassle. So what we do, and again, we don't necessarily, we're just telling you how we get through this. We have like literally a line that just goes auction. Now, I happen to have a brain that is kind of like a steel trap as to what it comes down to pay for something. I might be off $1, but I'm not off further than that. So I can actually look at any of the things that we've got around and go, okay, I spent this much money on this. So I can look at stuff and know it came from an auction lot, that it came, and that auction lot cost $20. That $20 auction lot had that was in it. We bought about 40 things in that. That's probably 50 cents. I also look at things a little differently too. And this is Rick's way. He always calls it what do you call it? The
fuzzy
math is, if I bought something that was a box load for $20 at an auction, and I sell this for $20, the box is free. I don't think about the fact. That's why also I can donate stuff easy too. If you paid for one of the things that you bought, if you go on a thrifting trip and you spend $40 at the thrift store and you sell one of those items for $40, you can think about the rest of the stuff is free. And if you have trouble or you go, damn, why did I buy this one thing? Return, donate it, get it out of here. Don't hang it around your neck.
Yeah, we also deal with our inventory in the aggregate. So in our reporting to our accountant, it's one line item. Total inventory purchased, total value of inventory on hand, total value of inventory sold. And then there's a separate line for the revenue from that inventory. So it's pretty straightforward. Our accountant,
and we've been doing it that way for 25 years now.
Yeah.
We've had this as a company with income for 25 years. And yeah, we claim travel expenses. We go down to Buffalo to go shopping. We claim our mileage to Buffalo. We claim our restaurants when we're eating in Buffalo. We claim all the stores that we shop at in Buffalo. We claim our hotel room in Buffalo, because that is all the expenses of purchasing. We've done that when we drive to Brimfield. We're not going to Brimfield to sit on our butt. We're going to Brimfield to shop for resale. So you could do that as well. And if you want to go right into it, you could actually go, this is my costs of Brimfield. This is my sales from Brimfield. So you can actually look at it and go, oh, did I spend too much? Is it worth my while to go and do that? Or am I spending for the sake of just reselling? And again, that's one of the things we just like to try and make people remember is there's different ways you can be in this. You can use it as a hobby. You can have fun doing it. You can also use it as a business. And that's where we want you to kind of shift your head a little bit and go, it is a business. When you go to a thrift store and you spend 3 hours and you buy one thing that's $2 that you can sell for $20, you're now paying yourself at the time. You haven't listed it. You haven't packed it. You haven't done photographs. You've done nothing. So try and keep those kind of things in mind, that you need to pay yourself as part of the job. Your job is to thrift and resell. So your job should not be, I get to spend 9 hours doing this and I found one thing. And you don't keep searching that thrift store for that one elusive $400 flip. If it's not there, I spend on average, unless I found something in the first 15 minutes, I am out of a thrift store. That is pretty well the goal. Now, when I go thrifting with Rick, in the first 15 minutes, I am done the whole store. Rick is in aisle 2. So sometimes it takes a little longer, but he does find some amazing stuff.
I do. I actually spend a good deal of time looking at things and avoiding people.
So Tina, just take this one little clip and go, see, Craig and Rick say it's a job. So, and your friends should, don't let your friends make you feel bad about it either, because it is a job. That's just it. It is a job. I don't know. I wasn't personally attacking you. I went to 2 stores. So I spent an hour today. I went to one store for 15 minutes, drove 15 minutes to another store, and I found one $2.99 item. Now, I thought I might have found something that was great, and then I messaged Rick, and we decided no, it was not the best thing. Greg, best thrift store book sale done in 45 minutes. Yeah, and you do books, so books take, to me, a lot. It's a lot more taxing. And I think I see people, it's okay if you can make money. If you're a book person or a record person and you're spending, I see people all the time, scanning the books to sell. I don't really do that. I just go to certain places now and I go, anime books, not anime. I know I scan for, if there's a TV section, I scan for Gilmore Girls and other TV books. I look at sealed CDs and VHS things now, just because I go, oh, some of those might be worth money. So, it takes time though, doesn't it, Heather, for people to know it's your actual job that you are actually doing. So that's the thing. Your wife rarely goes, but can follow you finding all the stuff. At least
does she have the eye, Carl? Does she find things that you miss?
Yeah. So Donna, in the city you're around, there's 5 or 6 stores. So you can actually do your city, but you do a marathon like that. You go from store to store to store to store. Unless you're talking to someone. Yeah. I met a wonderful woman the other day chatting with her. Her name was Gay. And she said, when I asked her, we were chatting about stuff, and she actually had taken all this stuff and lined it up, all these photos that someone had sketched that someone had done, and she'd lined them all up in a row. And she said she was OCD, and I said, that's okay. And I kept pointing at ones that she missed, and she thought that was funny. And then I ran into her in another part of the store. And when I got to the other part of the store, she goes, you're still here. I said, you're still here? She goes, yeah. She goes, oh, I have fun with this. And I said, oh, so do I. And she goes, what did you find? I showed her some stuff. And I said, oh, well, If you ever want to learn more about it, and I gave her my card and said, we're Two Dogs Digs. You can watch us on Tuesday night. She might be watching now for all I know. I said, what's your name? And she goes, I have to lean in close and whisper it. I said, why? She goes, my name is Gay. And I said, so? She goes, no, my name is Gay. I said, okay, with an E? And she looked at me like, you're not even asking the question. I said, girl, you got the wrong person to be asking that question for, because what's your name? Gay? I would have said, guess, what's your name? But she was a wonderful lady. And I hope to bump into her again. We had a lot of fun chatting there too. So it's one person. I told Carl, I don't talk with people at thrift stores. I'm getting older. I'm getting into the senior years. So now I'm going to talk to people at thrift stores.
Just don't touch them. You'll be fine.
I won't touch them. Let's see. So we answered that in terms of, now the one question that some people, if you are in the US, in terms of income levels, and if you aren't claiming it, in the US, there are some rules that are going through right now that may have you starting to claim stuff. Now, originally, there was an idea that you may get, I think it's $10.99 in the States from places you sell from. So eBay or PayPal or things like that, which was for $600. And so if you sold something for $600 worth of stuff through PayPal, you would get a thing. The IRS know that you have got this income. Now, my understanding is that stalled for 2024, but it is coming into play in 2025. And 2024, it's $20,000. But that's also a reason you see a lot of people who say, I don't want to pay on PayPal in Facebook through PayPal goods and services, because that's the money they count. They don't count friends and family because it's sending money to a friend and family. So it's the reason that people use it, but there's too many people who are still a little on the shady side trying to use friends and family. So I refuse to use friends and family for anything that we do. So we would get something from PayPal, actually, which we would include in our normal.
Yeah, and we've claimed everything for the past 20 or so years.
So Lisa Irvin Wallace had asked how we keep track of things that we buy cost-wise. So yeah, that's what we say. Just really simple. All your receipts all together, type them into an Excel chart. Allison asked as well, do most resellers track their hours they put into business? And then that's what she said. After starting to do this, I realized how little I am making. Researching too long, anything along those lines. So it is, she calls it a hobby that earns bonus money. And again, if that's the way you use it, that's great, because at one point we both worked full time. So what we did was we used this money that we were working on. This was our money to go, well, now let's go to Disney World for a week. Now let's go to Vegas for a week. Now let's go to New York for a weekend. We used our eBay money as our vacation money. But some people, if you need to go, this is the money I need to use to pay my rent. And it's that simple. But
our Barbie show sales actually paid for my 30th birthday trip to London, England for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So it's from a Barbie show. And now he used to bitch about going to those kind of things. And I'd say, you just shut up. You sit with me in this room. We sell Barbie dolls. And then you can go and do whatever. We can do whatever you want after. But you wouldn't get to go to Disneyland. You wouldn't get to go to this place or this place. You wouldn't get to visit Palm Springs if we didn't do the Disney trip to San Diego, or to the Barbie trip to San Diego.
Yes, he thought it was a carrot. I knew it was a stick.
I could beat him. Joel started using For Receipt. That's a really terrible company name. I'm sorry. For Receipt for your thrift store buys. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 year we used Neat Receipts, and then they put everything online and it made it impossible to use. So I do it the old-fashioned way. I put a receipt, I have a line item in an Excel spreadsheet, and I do the grand total for the end of the year.
So Carl says I put 95% on a credit card and use down. Yeah, that's another way too as well. Joanne, that's great. You just use your profit to buy a new fridge. So that's, and I mean, you're a newbie, so that's even better. So now that's one of the things that people say, hey, then you can go, hey, what? I just bought a new fridge. You think it's funny that I go to a thrift store and I buy some clothes and resell them? Or I resell my own clothes that I don't wear anymore? Recycling and reselling, as we talked about, the old economy versus the new economy, 20%, 30% of people are buying clothes that are used now and wearing them. Why? Because as Instagram or Facebook people and things like that, you wear it once, you don't want to be seen in it again. So that's what fast fashion is all about. That's what H&M is all about, is like make it, break it, and get rid of it. Yeah, Elisa pays her rent. So the receipt is generic. Yeah, it can be. Our receipt, it doesn't tell us on Value Village what the receipt, it just says housewares. So I have to know.
I actually use, if it's one receipt and we bought 20 items, I just put whatever the date is, Value Village, various items, and the total. It's as simple as that. I break down the taxes as well, but it's a pretty straightforward. It's one line per receipt. I don't break it down any further than that.
A couple of people asked, how do we keep our house from looking like an eBay store? We don't. Like many people, we don't. It's that is the biggest struggle, because I like sitting upstairs with Rick. And our upstairs is where our dining room is. And our dining room, it lets me look at the television while Rick's sitting in the living room. So I have a computer set up on the dining room table, and I bring stuff up or I bring stuff in. And then I put it on the dining room table because I'm going to get to that.
Yeah, it becomes a dumping ground.
And it literally becomes a full dumping area. So we're trying
a holding area.
Holding area.
A waiting to review to list area.
Yes.
Although the past couple of weeks, we've made a concerted effort to reduce the volume of stuff.
I'm going to take a picture of it right now.
Okay. Yeah. No, we've made a concerted effort to actually reduce the amount of stuff that's sitting there. So over the course of Saturday and Sunday this week, we moved probably 40 or 50 items out of that space. Some of the stuff we put into Max Sold, other things we listed on eBay, other things we put into our Whatnot show. We've just taken the time to process. Half of the stuff we may have even redonated, for all I know. Craig,
this is actually the clearest this table has been in a year. That's our dining room table down from where we are. And this is all stuff that's going in our Max Sold. But you can see I have boxes down here that are stuff that's getting ready. There's boxes over here. There's and then the living room is just up down there. So I sit here watching the living room. So yeah, it's messy. I know other people, we always say, try and keep it to a corner, keep it to a room if you can. It becomes a challenge for people to do some of that, but we have enough room, luckily. Yay! I know we're not the only ones, so I don't want you guys to feel you haven't seen your dining table since Christmas.
It's a natural place. It's a natural place to park things.
It is.
It's convenient. It's usually the same floor as the entrance to your house.
That's perfect. Your rule is the mess has to live in the basement. That's good. And
that used to be our rule, and Craig used to work full time in the room that I'm in right now.
Yeah.
There was nothing allowed up the stairs. And then I retired, and now it's everywhere.
It's a profit plague. Heather's got to clean it up again because she's got Mahjong coming over, so she has to clear it up again. So Holly had an Amish man build me 5 shelves for your flatware. That's perfect. Strangely enough, I just watched a movie. What was it called?
The Amish Stud.
The Amish Stud on Lifetime. And it was Luke McFarlane, who is a gay actor, played an Amish stud who killed his wife. It's just really strange that you happen to say Amish as well, just after I saw that. Sherry says, I watch hoarders. It reminds me to be very careful. It's true. And again, I say we're hoarders, but in a way, we actually have to be. We must consider ourselves that for sure. Let me see a couple other questions. Do you check the sell-through rate on everything you buy? Sometimes I find myself struggling to leave something behind that you think is cool. You get home and realize you should have left it or you should have bought it. I try and let that go. I know there's huge FOMO. That's the thing about most resellers. Once you start, you've got a huge fear of missing out. I didn't need to go out today. I've got a bunch of stuff to do, but it's Senior Tuesday. I get 30% off at the Value Villages, so I had to hit 2. I can't do a Tuesday without getting out. I also use it to go, I'm getting out. Oh, good. Jennifer can see her laundry room counter again. Lisa said, harder. It makes you feel better about your life. Clearing out stuff like that. let's see, don't keep our room like that. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that we do have. So people, in case anybody does look for that kind of stuff, hold on a second. I have a picture or two of our setup in our house, just so you can see. And again, what I like about what we've done is we've got a few things that are set up. And again, we're lucky because we have space for a number of these things, but I do want to show you sort of how we have them set up in different places within our house. This is actually an area we happen to have a set of patio doors, but you could do this against a wall. We actually took this wall, patio doors for us that we don't use, put a drapery rod against it, and then bought one of these backdrops of brick from Amazon, fake brick, and a table and a tablecloth, just a sheet. This is our area for doing bigger items when we're doing a lot of stuff. So this is an area down in Rick's area. We have smaller versions of these as well, smaller versions of these little lights. So Rick's got one right there, so that we can do stuff in a smaller area for us.
This is our whatnot lighting.
That's our whatnot lighting. There's another one which we actually moved upstairs. So we cleared this area upstairs near the dining room to take some faster pictures. So we have two of these lights. And we used to have two of them downstairs, but we've got one upstairs right now, right here on this little bar. So we can take pictures of that on the bar.
I've been taking a lot of the Max Sold and eBay photos for the past month and a half up in the same room where Craig is processing stuff. So it's a lot more convenient. And then once I take the photo, add them to the listing, I then immediately take them down the stairs and put them into inventory. I figure out what box it'll fit in and type in the catalog number right away. Off it goes, back upstairs. It also gives me a break from taking photos for 2 hours solid. So I'm not as efficient as Craig might perhaps want me to be, but I'm getting it done, and I'm not finding myself bored with the monotony of doing just one thing for a very long time.
God, my wife made me put it all in Rubbermaid totes, and I just opened them up and said, what the hell did I buy? That happens so much. Again, I just did a whole bunch of stuff like that through things. And it's like, again, try to look at it if you can. This is the logic I'm using right now. Nice thing, crappy thing, throw away the crappy thing. Nice thing, crappy thing, throw away the crappy thing. Like, just donate it if you can, or throw it away. Don't throw garbage into a thrift store. That's terrible. But I do want to go through a really quick thing, because a lot of people who may be watching this, we put in the links on here a number of things that you should think about if you're reselling and trying to take it seriously. And first of all, we showed you what we've got here. This is our setup here, where we got these lamps, or these lights. There's two versions of these. Are bigger lights, and Rick can talk a tiny bit about them. We don't want to spend a lot of time on them, Rick, but they're both available on Amazon.ca or Amazon.com. And these are one version of the lights that are smaller, not tiny, but smaller, that give you different kinds of shading and LED, and that's to get better looking stuff, right, Rick?
Yes. Now those light box, or those lights are actually USB powered. They have the little wall warts, or the plugs that you actually put the USB cable into and plug into the wall. These specific ones have 3 color temperatures that you can set. So if you go to the next picture.
And this is the set we have.
This is the set that we have. They're a little more expensive, but they have dials on the back, so you can dial the brightness from 0 up to 100%. You can also specifically dial the color temperature. So depending on other light sources in the room, you can match the color of this light to the other light sources in the room, so your pictures come out more color correct.
And again, this is if you've got the space for it. This original light, this runs about $40 to $60, 40 US to 60 Canadian. This set, which we upgraded to, and again, not everybody can do it. This was actually a $250 set of lights. So it's about 200 US, 250 Canadian. Next thing that we're talking about is so key, is a good weigh scale. Now, the thing that a lot of people do, though, with their weigh scales is they buy a weigh scale that actually has the little like scale on it. And this is terrible. And the reason it's terrible is because if you have a box that has a thing and you want to put something on it to weigh, you cover up the actual digital readout. So it costs a tiny bit more, but it's so much more worth it because you're not trying to, let's just say, for example, that I'm trying to weigh Pee Wee Herman. Great, I can weigh Pee Wee Herman on a scale that has something in front of it. But if I put Pee Wee Herman in with 4 other things, including that shoe, into a box that's 12 inches by 12 inches by 11 inches, and I put it on top of a little scale, I can't see the scale. So the thing to do is you actually get a scale that has a corded digital readout to it. And this is literally one of ours right here. We're using that. That's the one that's downstairs right now in the dining room. So the scale is big enough so full boxes can sit on it, and the readout sits to the side. So
we have one of those in the basement room.
We have 3 of these. 3 different rooms. We have 3 of these in 3 different rooms. So these
they pay for themselves.
They do. They pay for themselves in no time. And again, the basics on something like that, for a good one, depending upon how wide you want, how much of a space you want to cover. US, it's about $25 to $28. And in Canada, this particular one is an Accutep under 110. It does 110 pounds, and it's $42 Canadian on Prime. So again, the link for that is in there as well. Another thing that people don't get enough of but should use is these rotating display stands. Now, here's the thing that we learned the hard way. Get a rotating display stand that just uses a battery, because the first 2 we bought had USB cords or plugs, and they show up on the screen when you're doing stuff with them. They become a little more. This is something that's just so much easier. This happens to be an 8 by 7 inch, like 8-inch diameter on the top, and it's battery powered, and it holds 10 pounds. So when you want to do something like I showed you that one thing that Rick put in, he throws it onto a turntable and it spins around and it makes a great video. For Etsy, you've got a 15-second video that you can put on that has no sound to it. For eBay, you can put a thing on that's got lots of sound to it. You can put a longer thing on. You can explain things about stuff. We actually just did one that was, this was not on a turntable, but we just did a video even for the eBay thing for a race car set that we bought, and we filmed the race car set and held stuff up for people to look at. But generally, we do a Barbie doll. We can put it on there and spin it around. And again, you'll find that this can help your sales. And this particular type of item is like probably about $20 US, $30 Canadian. So again, it's one of those things that's sort of like, it will be a game changer for you. Now, Rick, one person did ask a question about how do you deal with putting videos onto eBay? So I'm going to throw that over to you to answer the question for, because you're the one who does it most of the time.
Yeah, so for ebay.com, it's really quite simple. You have to have your video sourced. If you go to your listing, oh, sorry, I have to share my screen. Give me a second.
And by the way, with the whatchamacallit, the little thing we have 2. We actually have a small one, small little thing, so we can put little things like jewelry on it and glasses. We also have a large one that we can put stuff on that's bigger. So we use those both for the rotating thing. The spinning thing is an 8-inch one. The one that we have a link for in the description is 31 Canadian. I think it's 21 or 19 US if you're on eBay or Amazon.com versus Amazon.ua. I am going to do a link in the group actually with all this because we had to put those in. Joanne hasn't figured out the video thing yet. So it's not hard to end up doing. Ricky, what are you doing? You're going to show?
Yeah, no, I'm basically, here's a draft listing we have for this G.I. Joe. Now, it says upload video or drag and drop. What I can do is actually I can find a video on my desktop and just drag it into this and it will upload. So drag and drop whatever the video is into this field and it will go.
You can also, though, video it right on your phone when you're making the draft listing. You can take a second. if you got, especially if you got the rotating thing that's going around, you can easily just take a second on that. And when you're building your draft selling, I'm going to do the active. No, I don't want active. I want drafts. Where's my drafts? Here's my draft. I'm going to put a draft. This is something I don't even have on there right now. So I'm just showing you this. This is a draft that I'm building. And when I go to the plus there, I actually can add a video right to it right there. Right, Rick? I should be able to. Is that right?
No.
No, you can't add it on your camera.
You can't add it from your phone using
I
the
always
app.
forget.
You have to load the desktop site on your mobile phone, and then you can upload from your device. For eBay.ca, you have to embed a YouTube link. I don't remember the URL for the tool that I use for
The old tool we used to use is gone.
Yeah, it's not the same as the .com platform, Joanne. It actually, I'll see if I can find it, and I can post a response to you in the Facebook group.
So just as a follow-up on Etsy, if you are creating a draft in Etsy, this is a draft on my phone, I can actually add video and photo right there. I just press the plus and it tells me add a video. So if I wanted right now to add a video, I can add a video. I can upload the video that I've just taken right there and bring the listing to life. So I have to have filmed it, but I could film my coffee cup and then just add it in my phone. So we're actually going to do a little post on that. Rick, if you can make a note on how to do videos, we'll do a post and we'll make sure we do that before the end of this week.
Yeah, I will.
The last thing is that I wanted to just mention is some people also need this. If you don't have all that space, it's look for the one other thing, which is a good light box. So this happens to be one that that has a couple of good things about it. You can shoot things from the top, so you can see in here. You can actually shoot down inside if you got the top angle because you can block off the light. You can shoot centered, and it has a light source inside it. So this collapses. You can take it away with you. You can do anything you want. Like this is how easy it is. Provides its own light. This actually has, I believe, like even colored inside, so you can go to the individual light boxes. This is a 16 by 12 as well, so it's a good size for you to be able to use something with. And it comes with color backdrops, like a blue backdrop and a black backdrop in case you're doing something that's white. It's really easy to put together. And this happens to be the 16 by 12 inch, which is about $60. You can get like another one that we don't necessarily recommend, but you can find these for $20, $30, $40. So light box on a bed. Yep, perfect. And your cat may also like the light box. Some people aren't that big of a fan of it, but it is something that can work. We actually have a portable light box that we've taken away with us. So we've actually taken it away with us and in the hotel room, popped the light box open and taken some pictures and added a listing. So
well, the nice thing about the light box is it gives you a clean background for your images. So depending on what you're taking a picture of, it can actually make your item look better for buyers.
The one other question that I have that I haven't answered is more specific on something, and this was for Allison Kendra. And she says that she has a ton of vintage magazines that she doesn't know what to do with, whether she should try and sell them. Well, the challenge, and actually Heather just bought some Barbie magazines. The challenge with magazines is finding them that actually have a value to them. And actually, I know that Dawn's mom has magazines in there too. If the magazines have a good value, if they're a collectible magazine that has a good value, you can check on your eBay solds or on Worthpoint and see how much they've been going for. Then they may very well be worth selling. But in general, a lot of them don't. They can't be sent they weigh a lot. And what some people have done, and I know Lisa Boland who left, but she's done this, she does this, is people do cut the ads out. To me, I just haven't gotten to there yet. It's too time consuming for me to think about that when you saw all the boxes of everything that we have to go through. Some of those boxes are a shoe box that's got like 30, 40, 50 little tiny things in there. But those little tiny things are a $25 jewelry piece, are a $10 egg. It's like all sorts of things that may be very small, but might be worth a lot of money.
Or a $60 mini Barbie.
Yeah. So we have boxes of things that have a lot of little things in there. I personally don't want to be dealing with having to cut out paper, but you could. It is something that you could do even on a side. Again, with that, make sure the stuff you're looking for, Lisa would be a good person to ask in the craft group, but the stuff you're looking for should probably be stuff that you see selling. So again, look for magazine ads that have sold to see what kind of stuff it is. I had a ton of vintage car magazines, and I was thinking, oh, people will want ads for car stuff. No, they weren't really selling too much at all. Diana has a giant light box and an itty bitty light box, but neither is useful. And again, it depends on the space that you have. I know that Julie, for example, doesn't have a lot of space in her house. So for her, the light box on a bed might be a perfect answer for her, where she can't afford and can't find a way to put in all these bigger lights in the house. We also have we used to have big photography lights too. Adrian has them now. And well, Holly didn't have much ads with that. Your husband has some Playboy magazines. There might be ads in those that are good. I mean, they are for the articles, actually. Yeah, they are good for really small things, jewelry, perfume, and things like that. So hopefully, Carl takes all his picks in a light box. The one place he keeps clean. So what you're saying, Carl, is we should think about our whole house as a light box, and then we'll clean it up. Well, we're trying. Again, January has been the month of renewing and redoing, and we're trying to think of different ways of what we can do and what to do with them. And being a random reseller, this is the type of thing that you have to deal with. We are trying to keep our place cleaner. We're trying to purge more. We're trying to pay ourselves more, and to pay ourselves more, it means going to 2 thrift stores and not buying anything, because I don't need something that may or may not sell. I don't need if I find something I can flip for $100, I'll pick it up. Like the how I train your dragon thing from Playmobil. I picked that up for $4.99 or $7.99, and I'm listing it for $125. So I wasn't going to pass that by, but I did pass by bags of stuff today because I thought, it's not really a lot of money in it right now. I got a lot of money in my house. I got to get rid of the stuff that's in my house before I start picking up extra stuff. And I'll go on. The other thing you can do, it's a little bit of your own secret. You sell something, you can buy something. You sell something, you can buy something. So you could use the sale to help justify what you can spend, or you can use that as, I get rid of this much stuff, I can buy this. I sell 3 things, I can buy 1. That doesn't mean you sell 3 little things, you can buy 1 big thing, because Rick always says that's not the same trade-off. You can sell 3 big things and buy 1 little thing. That works, but you want the space. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we gave you a couple of ideas of what we do as resellers, of the random world of reselling that we're in. We're going to keep being random because that's how we make $50,000 a year doing this. We're going to keep doing it part-time because we're lazy buggers and we can't get ourselves up to do 10 to 12 hours of this. We don't want to. We're doing fine with the money that we're making. So hopefully you'll make a little money, learn a few things. And if there is any questions, again, feel free to ask them down below. Or ask them in the craft group if there's something else that you missed. What is the third type of resell? That's what I was trying to figure out. There's focus flippers. There's random resellers. I guess we could call the third kind the picky people, because I'm doing something with alliterations for some reason. So the picky people pick all sorts of different stuff, but it's still kind of random, but not really. So I would call a picky person someone who sells all kinds of clothing. So men's, ladies, accessories, but me, I'll sell a hat, I'll sell a blanket, I'll sell this, and actually I get to find out what happened to my 1 sheets because the sheets
yes.
Huh?
Now, what is the name of the Facebook group again?
Which
Happy Sheets and Linens?
Yeah, and so I'll just show you here. So I did sell that last thing. Here we go. I'll show you this. This is the Happy Sheets and Linens, is a group for selling literally, there we go. And there we go. I got $101.
Wow.
For that set of sheets. And I will be sending an email to that person, and I will do a PayPal invoice. So I will cover the goods and services of 2.9%. and 30 cents on the transaction. So that would cost me $3, but it won't cost me 15 to 20%. Thanks again to everybody for popping in and joining us here. Next Monday or next Tuesday, it's what's sold in January. So you saw some stuff that we sold that's random. Wait till you see how random Carl's stuff is, because Carl's joining us again. And hopefully somebody who did find some random stuff to sell and found some stuff that flipped that was really good, Adrian, who's joined us here at the end of the show, he will be joining us next week. But I didn't have him confirmed, so his face isn't on the little picture yet. So thanks again for joining us here. Again, we're going to do a video about what we think are the best things for us. We will also do a video on how to add pictures to eBay. And we will end with the fabulous Craig, Bad Dog, singing his song that you saw at the beginning. In case you tuned in late, Rick, you can leave if you really want to. And here we go, back again with my song for everyone.
Look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think that my thrifting's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the dog who's bought everything? Look all around, floor to the roof. If you don't think that this isn't some proof, guess what? I'm the dog who's bought everything. I've got china and knickknacks aplenty. I've got Disney and beanies galore. You want fake Barbie dolls? I got 20. But who cares? I love thrifting and reselling more. Now time to sit, get some stuff listed there. Hear a cha-ching and jump out my chair. This is the life that a dog like me and Rick live. Down in my room, no darkness and gloom, just a bunch of stuff that needs selling. What I'll be listing, you see, until the end of the world.
Thanks for joining us here at Two Dogs Digs for our hall pass. We'll see you again soon. No, I don't think I got the Tony Award for that. Ciao, everyone.